The Blues be looking to continue their impressive run of home form against Australian opposition when they host the Force on Saturday. They've won each of their last 7 games at home against Australian sides, surpassing 40 points scored on 3 occasions in that span. Furthermore, the Auckland outfit are undefeated in their last 7 matches against the Force, W6, D1, their only loss to them coming in 2008. It doesn't look overly positive on paper for the Perth franchise, that's for sure, as the Blues have also won each of their last 3 home games against them, scoring a total of 111 points across that period. And with the Blues back to winning ways last week, expect them to claim victory. The Force lost heavily at the Crusaders last time out and come into this game struggling after back-to-back defeats. However, one positive so far in 2017 has been their defense, as they have conceded just 5.5 clean breaks per game, fewer than any other team in the competition. Off the tee they are also solid, as the reliable Doleman has slotted 10 of his 11 kicks at goal, the best rate of any player to attempt 10-plus shots. Still, though, it's hard to look past the Blues running riot if the weather holds up in Auckland. They boast too much class, and with Rico and Akira Ioane set to be unleashed early in the second half from the bench, the Force could well be in trouble during the closing stages at Eden Park. Western Force head coach Dave Wessels admits improvements have to be made, and after last week's big loss in Christchurch, highlighted defensive solidity as being key if they are to contain the Blues' attacking threat. We know that to turn around the outcome of last week we must be a lot better in a number of key areas, not least our defense, Wessels said. It's great to have the experience of Dane Haylett-Petty, Billy Meeks and Matt Hodgson back in the side this week. He added, the boys have trained really hard this week under difficult circumstances. I couldn't be more proud to be part of this team. The Blues meanwhile will not be overconfident, as head coach Tana Umaga expects a tough challenge from their visitors, who will also be motivated by recent speculation that they may be dropped from the Super Rugby competition next year under the suggested new format. The last time these teams met, the Blues ran out 17-13 winners in Perth last year, as first half tries from Jerome Kino and Tevita Lee saw them to victory. Matt Hodgson hit back for the Force with a try before Ben Topue's penalty on 63 minutes cut the gap to 4 points. But that was how things ended at Nib Stadium as the visitors held on. Despite a late Force line out 5 meters out that saw them knock on. Players to watch. In a backline oozing box office talent, the work of fullback Michael Collins has not been praised enough. The Otago man has shown at the back so far this season, showing solidity and nice touches when in possession. Tana Umaga has a reliable number 15 on his team sheet at the moment, and expect him to create again on Saturday for the likes of lethal finishers, wings Matt Duffy and Melani Nana. For the Force, they need the physicality of Tata Food-Politano to come to the party in Auckland. In defense, the Wallaby hooker always puts his body on the line with little respect for his well-being, and he will need a strong match against James Parsons and company up front if this Force side is to stay with their opponents. Also keep an eye on the performance of Jono Lance, who has been a leader so far this year. Team news: the Blues have with a largely unchanged starting lineup this weekend. There are only 2 changes from the starting lineup that beat the Bulls last week. Young flanker Blake Gibson gets a break after a highly physical game against the Bulls, allowing North Harbour loose forward Murphy Taramai with his second start. Coach Tana Umaga is also trying a new midfield option, with former New Zealand U20 player TJ Fiona getting his first Super Rugby start at 12, with George Moala moving out to 13 and Rico Ioane to come off the bench. The Western Force have made several changes to the matchday 23 that will run out Indiana-Auckland. Titara Faulkner comes back into the starting front row, replacing Jermaine Ainsley, who dislocated his elbow against the Crusaders last week. After making his Super Rugby debut, Richie Arnold has been given his first start in the second row, while Matt Hodgson comes into the familiar number 7 shirt. Inside centre Bill Meeks comes back into the squad in the number 12 jersey, after recovering from an ankle complaint, with Marcel Bratch shifting to outside centre. Curtis Rona is unavailable for the game after suffering a concussion against the Crusaders. Dane Haylett-Petty starts at fullback. Form: the Blues ended a 3-game losing streak last week when they beat the Bulls 34-18 in Auckland. That was their first win since the opening day victory at the Rebels, and they will hope it's the springboard for another success, possibly with a bonus point, this weekend. Meanwhile, Western Force have won 1 of their 4 games so far, which came in round 2 against the Reds. Since then they have lost to the Brumbies and Crusaders, the latter being a 45-17 hammering in Christchurch. They return to Perth next week for a home clash with the Kings. Prediction: expect the hosts to comfortably come out on top at Eden Park against a Force side looking suspect up front. Blues to win by 20. Previous results: 2016, Blues won 17-13 in Perth. 2015, Blues won 41-24 in Auckland. 2014, Blues won 40-14 in Perth. 2012, Blues won 32-9 in Auckland. 2011, 22-22 draw in Perth. 2010, Blues won 38-17 in Auckland. 2009, Blues won 25-19 in Perth. 2008, Force won 27-17 in North Harbour. The teams: Blues, 15 Michael Collins, 14 Matt Duffy, 13 George Moala, 12 TJ Fiona, 11 Melani Nana, 10 Piers Francis, 9 Augustine Pulu, 8 Jerome Kino, 7 Murphy Taramai, 6 Jimmy Tupo, 5 Patrick Tuapulotu, 4 Gerard Cowley Tuitai, 3 Charlie Falmuina, 2 James Parsons, C, 1 Paul Yashmanu. Replacements: 16 Matt Moulds, 17 Ofa Tuanga Faisai or Sam Pradley, 18 Cyan Mafilio, 19 Scott Scrafton, 20 Akira Ioane, 21 Billy Guyton, 22 Ehai West, 23 Rico Ioane. Force, 15 Dane Haylett-Petty. 14 Chance Pini, 13 Marcel Brach, 12 Billy Meeks, 11 Alex Newsom, 10 Jono Lance, 9 Ryan Lorenz, 8 ISI Nizarani, 7 Matt Hodgson, 6 Ross Haylett Petty, 5 Richie Arnold, 4 Matt Phillip, 3 Teeter Faulkner, 2 Tata Foot Politanau, 1 Ben Daly Replacements, 16 N.R. Ringi, 17 Peck Cowan, 18 Shambekler Vui, 19 Richard Hardwick, 20 Kane Kateka, 21 Michael Ruru, 22 Ian Pryor, 23 Robbie Coleman. Date, Saturday, April 1st. Venue, Eden Park, Auckland. Kickoff, 17:15 local, 5:15 GMT. Referee, Shuhei Kubo, Japan. Assistant referees, Ben O'Keefe, New Zealand, James Doleman, New Zealand, TMO, Glenn Newman, New Zealand.